Hey guys, thanks for clicking on my video. Today I'm doing a bit of a different not makeup tutorial. Today I'm filming a different kind of video. I've seen videos where they talk about products they regret buying, products not worth the hype, products that I hate, all this stuff like that, and I've done a couple of those too. But this specific video I was interested in doing because I was like, I need to tell my friends the truth about how I feel about these things. So you know when you start dating a boy and you're like, he's amazing, he's great, and then you're like, I kind of don't like him anymore. It's kind of how I feel about some of these makeup products. I've kind of fallen out of love with some of them. So this is kind of what I was trying to do with this video. These are products I've talked about, I've raved about, I've told all my friends about them, and for some reason or another it just doesn't work out anymore. Oh boy. The first product is this lip gloss. It is from Motives. This one's called Champagne. Now, I really wanted to keep this because I was like, oh, I could use like a nudie lip gloss over some like nudie liquid lipstick to make it look real extra nuded out and smoky eye and nude. This color does not look good on me at all. So I have a very very pigmented lips, and when I say that I mean that like the actual color of my lips are very deep. The color is very rich, so colors it on top of it a little differently than other girls. My lips are more like on the brownie tone, neutral tone, but definitely in the brownie tone on the edges. So colors like this make me look fugly. I think I talked about this one specifically, like I love it so much, it's great, it's glittery, blah blah, but this color in particular I just fell out of love with. I do like the toasted one, or toast, I can't remember which one it's called, but this one from Motives, not for me. This is the Maybelline Baby Skin Primer. I talked about this a lot, and actually my twin sister talked about this and made me buy it, and I was like convinced, and I was like, I love it, it's awesome, it feels great, blah blah blah. It's very much similar to those silicone based primers that feel very like slippery to the touch. They tend to gear towards like pore fillers. If you have big pores, put this on, it's great for oily skin, blah blah blah. What this does to me, it looks great like if I just put it on and I go to the gym and come right back. But like within the next 2 hours, I have to break up my makeup in these areas, which is where I place it, which is where my pores are bigger, and it just does not help me out. It like ruins my makeup. It is an instant pore eraser. It does fill in those pores really nicely, but if you have oily skin, which is more likely why you have big pores, you're gonna notice that it breaks apart your makeup. So I kind of fell out of love with this. This isn't true to say that like everybody experiences that, because I don't think my sister has experienced that, but she has smaller pores than I do. But if you have big pores, sometimes these will kind of work against you. So I used to talk about this a ton because I really did like it. I liked it because it filled my pores, but the more I started wearing it and more I started observing it, I started to notice it would break apart on my skin and oils. It made me more greasy, and I'm parting ways with this. I wanted to love you, especially because you're from the drugstore and you're so cute and you're baby blue. Alright, this is Nars. This was one that I used to talk about a ton, and I think it was because of the hype, I'll be honest. This is Nars Albatross highlighter, and it's very much like a white gold highlight. It's pretty. It's pretty. You know what it is? This texture of this Nars highlight, the texture of this highlighter ain't really that special. You know what I mean? It's definitely something where you're gonna find from like the dollar store, like the texture of it. The color's pretty, it's like a white gold, but you have to really rub it into the skin for that like sheen to go through, because it's really not that much of a sheen. It's very powdery, and it really relies on the glitters inside of it to pop. Just don't do it. And I don't mind the color. I don't love the color anymore. It's very gold, white gold, but the texture is what kills me. But that's before I tried a lot of these other brands that have really great highlighters, and this highlighter back in the day was the business, not so much anymore. So if you guys have been wanting Albatross, or you're seeing old videos of different YouTubers who always raved about this color, I would opt out, or just try it in your hand. It's really not that special compared to the ones that you see now, even at drugstores. Wet n Wild, it feels better. There's a Maybelline eyeshadow that feels amazing, that I love most. There's a Maybelline highlighter that my sister's supposed to give me that apparently feels amazing. So this Nars one, out of love with it. It was an old fling that I liked. Another Nars product is this. This is Casino. I talked about this so much in my videos. And again, it was during the time where I wasn't trying a ton of different bronzers, and I started to realize that this is a very warm reddish tone bronzer. This is Casino, and it's a little bit broken, which is kind of annoying too. And it's like full. This was a backup that I bought at the makeup show. It's totally full. And I liked it because it was darker than Laguna, and Laguna looks pretty on me. You just can't tell a ton when it's summertime because it gets super tan in the summertime. But this color in particular, it was just a little bit too warm. Maybe you can see it, maybe not. No, you can't really tell on my skin, especially on my hand. It's just a little bit too much of a red tone, and I started to not like it for bronzer. I used to talk about it a ton because it was, again, one of the only bronzers that I used to use, but I love the L'Oreal bronzer, the Glam Bronze. I love Shade Stir by MAC. That one's beautiful. It's really, really great for deeper complexions and tan skin. And even Hoola from Benefit. I really like that one a ton compared to that Nars one, and I think I just wanted to love it because it was Nars, I'll be honest. But I will try to use that up for my crease color, just a big old crease shadow. But in terms of bronzer, it just doesn't look that great on my skin. Maybe for some girls who have a different undertone, but not for me. I used to love you though. This one I was worried to talk about because I do love it. I love this. This is like one that it treats you good sometimes. You want to have a good time, but it's not so good to you in the long term. You know what I mean? In terms of voice. Studio Fix Fluid. This is a pump that it comes, or that you can buy, and this one's in Studio or NC40. So the Studio Fix Fluid, I do love. It's beautiful. It looks perfect. Your skin looks amazing. There's no pores in your skin. Like, it really does everything it's supposed to for a full coverage foundation. I love the smell even. It's just like so nostalgic to me. And I used to use it a ton, and I've always been oily in this area. I have so much to say about this foundation. People swear, and this is artists, people at MAC, people who just know about makeup, people swear by this for oily skin girls, and I completely disagree. It is a matte foundation, but it doesn't necessarily last you all day long for oily skin girls. Let me repeat that. It is a matte foundation, but it's not meant to last all day on oily skin girls. I think the Pro Longwear foundation lasts way better. It's not a full matte, but it's like a demi matte. That one, it looks like it shouldn't last on oily skin, but it actually does. It doesn't break apart in this area, and this one will break apart in the areas that you're oily. Even the waterproof MAC one, the waterproof Pro Longwear foundation, that one's really great too for oily skin. That one's really dry, but this one, people just were caught up in the fact that it's matte, but it's not meant for oily skin girls. It might look great in the short term, but long term it does not make you any cuter. It breaks apart, and it always is right here. So this is a foundation that I like to use mixing with other foundations or mixing with long-lasting foundations. I also like to wear this when I'm not wearing something for a long term. So if I want to look perfect for like a 2-hour time period or a 3-hour time period when I know that my oils aren't going to come through, this is my go-to. I do love it. I just don't love it for what it was geared for. So I found other foundations do last really well on oily skin. The Pro Longwear one by MAC, the Pro Matte by L'Oreal, that one's amazing. Even the Pro Glow by L'Oreal is really great too. It doesn't break apart the way this one does. For some reason, this laid up in the oily areas, it like secretes oil. So keep that in mind if you are wanting something that's really good for oily skin, or if you have normal skin, girl, get this. I'm so jealous of you. So jealous of you. Alright, I should have mentioned this earlier. This is another highlighter. This is from Physicians Formula. I used to talk about this a ton because for the time that I was wearing it, I really did love it. I don't dislike it now. It's a highlighter, like shimmering kind of strip, and this one's in the color Vegas strip. It's very pretty. It looks amazing, especially when you rub it into the skin. It does kind of create more of a sheen. But compared to some of the highlighters that I purchased lately, especially the ones from Wet n Wild, guys, Wet n Wild is a shit when it comes to highlighters. But this one is a little bit more chalky. I had to scrape a whole top layer for this to like kind of really pick up some of the highlighting, and that was really frustrating. And then I would find that I would do my little brush on there, and it just didn't pick up as well as the Wet n Wild one, or you know, a lot of my other ones really, but this one in particular, I really like the color. It's beautiful. It's like not too gold, it's not too pink at all. It's a really good sheen, but in terms of how like shimmery and highlighty this compares to my other ones, I like the other ones better. So it's not something I hate, I just kind of fell out of love with it, and I don't love it as much as I used to back in the day. So stick with the Wet n Wilds, girl. Yeah. Wet n Wild is so good. This is a powder. It's called the Blot powder from MAC. There's like four different tones. I think it's like light, medium, dark, and deep dark, and they have like almost like you can hardly tell, like there's no, this color you won't actually like add coverage to you. What it's doing, it's meant to be a blotting powder so that you can just literally dust on this powder and then not add any coverage. I used to love this so much, but like the more I started using it, and it's because I was oily as fuck, it would create a little film on the top of it, and this did it, and this happened with multiple compacts. I've purchased this several times. I used to talk a ton about this back in the day, long time ago in my videos, and now I just don't use it as much. So what I'm trying to use this up lately has been to set my eye primer, or if I'm using concealer even. I'm also going to try to use this for a setting powder as opposed to like a loose powder. But yeah, this is just like one of those products where I found other techniques that will do this job better in terms of like blotting and minimizing oils. I think loose powders works the best. It's one of my favorite tricks, and I think it works honestly the most beautiful on skin. This Blot powder is just okay, but again, that layer of oil, that sucks. I've been there, girl. I used to love it though. That's before I knew a lot about makeup. So this is one I fell out of love with it only because I started to notice this color ain't my favorite. This is the Wet n Wild Compact. A few of you guys asked me what color I use in this. I use Golden Tan. I don't think their color range is that amazing. I love their liquid foundations. I think that color range is a little bit better than the powders. I mixed two of them. I mixed Golden Tan, I believe, and Caramel together, and I love the way it looks. Caramel is a really, really great color, but in terms of the powder, I like the consistency. I love the way it feels, and I used to talk about it a ton, and I really did love it. It was in my favorites probably. The thing I just don't love about it is the color, and I started to notice that the deeper I got, it's just a little bit neutral, and I wish it was a little bit more yellow undertone. So this is one of the reasons why I kind of fell out of love with this product. I try to use it every once in a while, but again, sometimes I would just rather use my loose powder from Maybelline. I think it looks better. So yeah, fell out of love with her, but I'm not trying to use her as much as possible. I fell out of love with this Real Techniques and the Beauty Blender because that L'Oreal sponge, I just love it so much. L'Oreal sponge is super soft, pounces really nicely on the skin. This one's super, super soft. The Beauty Blender is a little bit tougher than this one, and then the L'Oreal sponge is like right in the middle. So I fell out of love with this one and the Beauty Blender because that L'Oreal sponge totally like took the cake. This one breaks apart really easily. I love using this in my kit. I don't like using it on myself, but this one breaks apart really easily. It'll get a nick randomly. I do like the edge of this, but I just stopped loving it as much as I love my L'Oreal sponge now. So if I had to pick, I would choose a L'Oreal one. I'm talking about the pink one, not the other ones. I haven't tried the other ones, but I think the pink one's just awesome. But this one's very similar, but again, the L'Oreal one I think is better. Another product I fell out of love with that I used to talk about a lot and use a lot is this Inglot Gel Liner. There's several things I think in general that I stopped loving about this. For one, the consistency was just very creamy, but then it would set, and then it would be very, very thick on the eye. It dried up pretty quickly, but it's still pretty wet, but it definitely like crackled a bit. And then in general, I just started to use liquid liner, and I found it so much easier to maintain. My brushes didn't get dirty. So just like an overall, I just kind of stopped loving gel liners. And Inglot was one in particular that I was like, if fell in love with you because there are other ones, especially the one from Rimmel, that's very similar to this. It does the same exact thing, lasts as long as this one does, and it's as black as this one. So that's kind of why I no longer love the Inglot Gel Liner. So it's really great. It's really good. If you love a gel liner, the Inglot one's really great, but not in my heart. Not in my heart anymore. Then there's this one. This is the Airspun. I liked it for a second. I really did. I really loved it for a second. The smell, I just can't. I can't. It smells so strong, very perfume. I don't want to say old lady because it's just rude, but it does smell very, very strong perfume. Very, it hurts my head. And then the other thing too is it's more of a, it's very much like a pink tone powder. So yeah, while you can dust it away and it won't show anything, it does give me some kind of pink afterwards. It's a little bit too lightening and brightening for me. My skin tone, I just feel like I need to work too hard for it to work for me, and I don't like doing that, especially on top of the fact that I don't even like the smell. I fell out of love with this. One that did replace this for sure has been the Maybelline powders. Those Fit Me powders, those are really, really good, and they have a bigger range of colors and tones. They don't smell like anything, so I fell out of love with this. I think my sister really likes this though. All right, last two things are for the eyes. This one is the Très Jolie eyeliner from NYX. I tried this because Kathleen Lights mentioned it. This is before the N-word. Shameful. But anyways, I tried this out and I liked it. I was like, ooh, this is good. This is very gel-like. It reminds me of the Milani Liquify eyeliner pencil, which is very gel-like. That one was giving me kind of like irritation on my eyes, and so I wanted to try something similar, and I liked it for a while, and then it just doesn't do anything special. I just fell out of love with it. I like the MAC Smolder eyeliner a lot because it's very creamy. It transfers onto the eye really easily. This one I feel like you have to like swipe a few times and eventually it'll get to you. It just was not worth all of the hype that I gave it. So yeah, I might use it a few times, but honestly I would never buy this again. Then the last eye product is this mascara. I would use this a lot when I would do like regular makeup tutorials, or if I would use lashes, I would use this mascara because I was like, oh, I can wipe it off easy. There are other mascaras that I love that are not waterproof, and that was the Wet n Wild Skinny Mascara and the Maybelline Telescopic, no, the Maybelline, what is it called? There's another Maybelline one that I really like a lot. But this one I talked about so much, but it really wasn't that special, especially not compared to the Wet n Wild one anymore. It's just the Jordana Best Lash Extreme Volumizing Mascara. It didn't do that much for me, but at the time I really did like it because it was just a plain wand. It was easy to use, and it didn't, you know, last all day, so I can remove it at the end of the night. It smells foul. Okay. Alright guys, that is all for me. Yeah, like I said, these are products that I did love at once. I don't hate them, but I fell out of love with them, and I just wanted to share and update you guys on some of the products that I talked about in the past videos, just in case you were ever wondering, or you know, wondering why I don't use them anymore, or you have it in your collection and you are finding like, huh, this isn't that great, Susie. I'm with you on that. If there's any other products that you fell out of love with, you don't necessarily hate, you use, but you just don't love as much as you used to, leave those in the comments below. I kind of want to know what you guys were into and are no longer into. If you guys have any other questions, let me know in the comments below. I will be seeing you guys in my next video.